Hey friends, welcome to Gaming and Q&A with the Angular team. I'm in the building. Yo, friends, I'm super close. Let me back up a little bit. I mean, I'm looking just like I'm right up in the camera, but I'm with Emma Twersky from the Angular team. Emma, say hi to the people. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Emma Twersky from the Angular team. You got it all right there.
I love that. All right, who do we have in the chat? Please let us know where you're joining us from and just, put down where you're coming from. Definitely have your questions in the chat because today, Emma, what are we talking about?
Angular material.
Let's go. So this is a great chance. So Emma is excellent with Angular material. So definitely put your questions there. We're going to answer Angular questions. Sometimes we get career questions. It's going to be a really, really fun time. And we're going to be playing a fun game today. We're going to be playing Trine 4. Trine 4 in the building. We got, who do we got there? We got Carol from Poland. Let's go, Carol.
Oh, Miko.
Let's go. Miko in the building. Miko, get you. Hans, you want a high five? I got something for you. You see this hand? Let me clean it up for you. Hold on. There it is. You ready? High five. Me to you. Hans in the building. Let's go. I can change these settings because I am too close. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm just like zoomed in or something.
Wait.
I don't know what they're doing here.
Oh, no, wrong way. We could high five each other, Mark.
Okay, let's do it. Wait, that's wrong side. High five. There it is.
Okay.
Boom. There we go.
There you go.
Yes, I got a question in the chat. Would it be okay to not have material-related questions? That is totally okay. Juan Carlos, bienvenido de Cuba. It's good to see you. Welcome. So glad to have you. All right, and we got somebody from Peru in the building. Let's go. We got international friends in the building. That's amazing. That is amazing. So feeling really, really exciting about all of this. Let me just go ahead. Emma, are you ready to play some games or what?
I'm ready to try.
Let's go. All right, we'll get our game going here. Let's see. What are people saying in the chat?
Let's see. I mean, there's a bunch of really good questions. I actually wrote down some of the questions that were in the chat that disappeared. I don't know how YouTube does that, right? Like, this live stream has been up for a week and there's been like good comments or good questions that disappear. Do you know what happens to this?
I do not actually.
Oh, so sad.
That is so sad because we did have people leaving comments. Okay. Oh, there's our game in there. All right. Excellent. All right, people at home, if you can see our game screen right now, I want you to go ahead and put some thumbs up in the chats, and then we're going to pick some questions. We're going to solve some problems in this game, and then we're going to just have a good time. I'm super pumped about this. All right. Good deal. Let's see some of these questions. Angular is love. Yes, it is. Go ahead, Emma.
Oh, I was going to say the very first one from Analyst Programmer is interesting. So how can we overwrite custom variables in Mat custom themes? I can answer this while you invite me to a party. I know gaming phrases.
There you go. Let's go.
So you can overwrite custom variables. If you're talking about like Sass custom variables that you've introduced, then nothing in the Mat or like material namespace is going to affect that. Just make sure you're not like prefixing anything with Mat the same way like in an application, all of your components should have a custom prefix like for your app, and you're not writing over things and creating new things called like mat-divider. Obviously, the mat dash namespace is reserved for Angular material. If you're talking about overwriting Sass variables that are in the material space, that is purposefully prohibited for now. But if you take a look at sort of the future roadmap, that is something that the team is heavily considering. The future of material is customization. So I'm super excited that things will be more customizable in the future. But as of right now, it's definitely heavily not recommended. The API does sort of allow for some of that overriding. There's some docs on it, but more coming on like what you can do there. A common one is like if you want a new background, right? Like you don't just want everything to be on a white background. Wait, how do I join?
You should be there. It's showing you in the chat. I mean, in the game.
Oh, okay.
Is your controller still linked up?
Yeah. Oh no, I missed your invite. Oh no, wait, never mind. I got it. Yeah, a common one with material is like, you know, you want all your components to not just be on like a white background, or like a black background for dark theme. And so right now, the components and theming like don't really support that, but that's something that is you can pretty much expect to do in the future. I'm seeing unable to join. Try again later.
Let me add you again. All right, let's try again.
Wait, now I'm stuck.
All right, excellent. Okay, so while Emma's joining,
oh, I wonder if I can't do. While I'm joining.
Okay, Leandro asked, can we speak slowly? Yes, we can. We can definitely speak slowly. Saludos desde Nicaragua. Well, hey, Sandra, good to see you. Bienvenido. Let's see. So, all right, Angular is love. We got this. Thank you so much. So I'm seeing some positive love in the building. Zaid, thank you. See, this is the type of energy I'm always looking for from attendees. Love the Angular videos from both of you. Can't wait for more. We can't wait to make more. We have a lot of so on the topic of videos, I can tell you we have a lot of great content on the way. So it should be pretty good. Wait, what? Other players have joined the game. You're still in playing gameplay mode. What? Okay, let's see. Are you in yet, Emma?
Yeah, but I can't move.
All right, here. I'm going to quit this. I will quit the main menu. There we go.
Wait, let me retry. I think
Let's do some multiplayer online. I'm going to host a friends game. I don't know what any of this means. Okay, we're going to start a game. We're going to add Emma on here. Okay, I just sent you another invitation. All right, so here's a great question from Janier or Jenier, or maybe French or Spanish, not sure. But can material use global consts defined for users? For example, custom units or colors?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends what you're talking about. Are you talking about like defining your own colors or like palettes and putting them into material? Because that's
why don't we assume that? Yeah. So how would you do that?
Yeah. So you would define. Sorry, I'm trying to like connect a controller. So you would define your theme the same way you always do. So you're defining a custom theme. So when you add material, you're gonna, instead of picking one of the pre-built themes, here we go. You're gonna select a custom theme. And then on your custom theme, you're gonna be able to supply the three different things are color, typography, and density objects. Let's ignore density and typography, but for color, for this question, right? This is about like, let's say I want a custom color theme. Don't ignore those things normally. You get to define a light palette and a dark palette for your primary, accent, and warning colors. So primary being like the color you mostly see, accent being like those little like accent things, maybe like some nice little like buttons that add a different color, and then warning being like why can't I move?
Oh no, you're in the game but you can't move. Oh man, this is brutal.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, you're kind of moving. Is that you?
No.
No, that was the animation of the character.
Here, let me try it.
Yeah, link. I would say make sure your controller's linked.
Anyways, so you can define your own colors in a custom palette, in a palette object, which if you look into the source code, there's examples of. So you would just like, the easiest way is to copy a palette that exists in Material and overwrite the colors with what you want. And then that would be your like primary palette instead, if you want your own variables there. I feel like I don't know how to exit this game.
All right. I know you're going to figure it out because we were just doing this. So that kind of makes sense. Let's see.
Should I restart Stadia?
Go ahead. Yeah, restart if it's not working for you, and just make sure that you link your controller at some point. Because sometimes it does get a little weird. Let's see.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
You're talking.
Can you hear me now? All right. So here's a good question. Team Angular.
I can't hear you.
I can hear. Oh man. Okay, we can solve that.
Mark. Let's see. I think the question is if Mark can hear me or if I can't hear Mark.
Okay, friends at home, let me know if you can hear me because the audio seems to be acting a little flaky here. Let's make sure that we're all
Mark,
still in the building. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. No, I'm in the building. I'm in the building for sure. Yeah. All right, yeah. That's so Emma's having a little bit of audio problem, but let's ask about this question. Team Angular, you should do support for mobile and Google. Mobile will be more famous than React Native and Flutter. Okay, so I'm actually really interested in Angular's mobile solution. Wait, I can't talk and play the game. It's hard to talk and play a game. So being a YouTube streamer or a Twitch streamer, this is a really hard task to talk and play. So what about mobile and Angular? So there are a couple of mobile solutions. By default, there's the mobile solution where you can just design a mobile responsive web application. Angular has first-class support for that because it's just the web, right? The second idea is that if you want to get access to things like native APIs that are made available through the browser, you can do something like a PWA where it can still be installed. You can even put it on the App Store, and then you can use all of your Angular skills. But there's even another solution that you can consider for your Angular and mobile. The other option is something called Ionic, and they have another tool called Capacitor. Those two kind of work together. I think Emma's in the building. Let's go.
I figured it out. Also, I will say my cat just muted everything, so that was what happened. So
Emma's cat didn't want to hear me talking. And so then you have Ionic, which gives you like a really cool UI you can use for mobile, and it's really designed for mobile that works with Angular as well. And then there's NativeScript, which if you really need native APIs, like full access to all native APIs, you can use NativeScript plus Angular. So you got quite a few options. If you would like to see a video on how to do native or just mobile in general with Angular, we could do that, but you have to comment. You have to reach out to us on Twitter. You got to get to us for us to do it. Okay, let's see. This is a question here. Let's see. Could you please give me an idea to use positions as row-wise and column-wise in drag and drop Angular material?
Let's see. Could you please give me ideas to use? So I think this is maybe talking about the fact that drag and drop doesn't support, look at that teamwork. Drag and drop currently only supports like one direction at a time. So you can't really do more complicated things. Like let's say you're creating like a chessboard is a really good example, right? Like pieces move diagonally. And that's like less possible with the current drag and drop solution. I mean, a lot of what the material team is working on right now is like hopefully that if we move to MDC, if we have components that are easier to work with and easier to build on, that things like the CDK drag and drop can be expanded, hopefully. Otherwise, there's good third-party solutions for that.
Hey, Emma, question real quick about what you just said about MDC. For the people who may not know what MDC is, can you just give us a quick overview of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at what the team is working on right now and what the Angular components team is working on, which let's roll back a little bit. So if you look at the Angular GitHub repo, I was super confused when I joined because there's like this whole repository called components, right? And like, I know what a component is because like I write Angular applications and they all have components. But the Angular components team is a little bit different, and that is the team that manages Angular material as well as the CDK. And so are the specific Angular supplied components, not just like the team that manages all Angular components as like an idea. So when I say components, I'm talking about the Angular material team that also runs the CDK. Now, MDC is material design components. And what that is if you think about Angular material, all of those material components are have a bunch of primitives that they're built on. So let's say like I have a button, that material design spec outlines like how big my button should be, or things like the touch target size, things like how rounded the edges are at a core level. And then anytime I customize it, right, like I can customize the color or other things like that to make it more of my own if I wanted. I don't actually know what I'm doing here. I just jumped somewhere.
No, you're doing good. Oh, no.
Yeah.
That was me. I just fell.
So the MDC-based components are a migration the team has been working on for a really long time. And the idea is that we take the same Angular components, so nothing will change. This is like a no lift change for users or developers. But basically, we take the same components, the same CDK implementations of like the drag and drop, all that good stuff in there, accessibility, whatnot. And we set it on top of the MDC primitives. So we're essentially pushing off the work of defining all of those things to another team. So instead of us maintaining our own version of like the same variables and trying to like keep up to date with the latest design changes, we are instead relying on the great work of other Google teams so that we can focus on other things like making more components, hopefully, maybe, or like defining better theming so that you can do some of that customization in the future. So again, sort of like Ivy enabled a bunch of cool stuff, the MDC-based components do the same thing. If you want to check them out, okay, wait, now I'm stuck though.
Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. Wait, did you pause the game?
No.
Oh, it just paused. That was weird.
If you want to check them out, the MDC components, they are currently in the experimental repository, but they are already being used by Google. So they're in like what I would call a super stable state of the experimental repository. So in GitHub or in like NPM, you can basically just change your like import from the like core material component NPM library to the experimental one and just see some of those changes. A really good one if you want to like check out the changes is there's a talk by Jeremy at NG. What's the conference in London? I've never been, so I just like let's see, Angular Connect. Is Angular Connect the one in London, Mark? We wouldn't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I do not remember. I do not recall.
Anyways, there's a really good talk, I think, at Angular Connect 2019, 2018 by Jeremy that shows like a before and after of what some of those changes look like. But essentially, like if you're familiar with some basic like accessibility stuff, like when you select things in a list, like it's more visible what you've selected or stuff like that. But yeah, I forget why I brought up MDC, but do you know how I'm stuck? You're stuck. Are you even in the
Yeah, no. So now we can do it. So I think we can just jump from here onto the box. Okay, wait, here. Okay. It was just too high. There we go.
Oh, okay.
So now we can jump onto the box. Yeah, so those boxes can stick to the snow. Let's see. There's a couple more. There's a ton of questions. Let's see. I like this question.
Okay.
What does this video game have to do with Angular, Ionic, and React Native? Nothing. This is just something fun that we're doing. Nothing to do with React. We mentioned Ionic just because someone asked a mobile question. But thanks for commenting and thanks for watching. I don't know what I'm not super clear on this question. Is it possible to use swap function and drag and drop with Angular material?
Swap function. I think what you mean by, I'm going to assume what you mean by swap is like if you want to switch two things. So like, let's say I think like checkers would be a good example, right? Like if I want to drag something on top of a piece that's already there to like essentially I took your piece, or if you want to like jump over pieces, those are more complicated. I will say checkers is a great example of drag and drop because checker pieces cannot move diagonally. So if you wanted to practice or like build a fun game in Angular material and use CDK drag and drop, that would be a good example. There's not specific swap where like drag and drop will like move two pieces. There is snap, so you can snap like pieces into specific places, but I don't think I've seen an example of swap. It's possible there's like a community solution somewhere for that, but I would not be familiar. Let's see. I don't have the ability to use a mouse, so Mark has to read the questions.
I am reading the questions. No, we're all good. But I also want to have some of this young LaCroix.
What flavor?
Beach plum.
Wait, no, peach
That's
pear.
pretty good.
It's peach pear.
Peach pear. Wait, this one is beach plum, though.
Beach plum?
Yeah, I don't know what that means either, but it just says, wait, am I getting in trouble? I don't want anybody to think I'm advertising this. Never mind. But it's beach plum. It's some weird like flavor, but it's okay.
I think the only good flavor of LaCroix is pamplemousse or grapefruit.
No.
And actually, I'm a big Spindrift fan, if anyone knows Spindrift.
I love Spindrift, and I love the story of Spindrift. It's just really cool. Just the idea that the owner wanted to know because the term natural flavors doesn't mean anything. And it's like, nope, we're just going to make something with just a little bit of fruit, a little bit of water, and then here you go. So Spindrift is pretty good.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, we need that.
I will also say it's from like DC, so it was like accessible. I don't know. Anyways, okay. I see the next question is when's the full move to MDC? So I mentioned it. The components are out there in the material components repository under experimental. Google is currently moving to MDC internally. Pretty sure I'm allowed to say that.
I will delete this recording.
No, anyways, so Google is moving over all of their targets, and the purpose, kind of the same with like Angular as its core, being like Google's always on the head of Angular, so they're the first to like test when things break. We need
your box, by the way, on this side.
Oh, okay. Oops, I moved your box. I don't know if this is gonna work, Mike. Anyways.
You gotta believe.
Okay. Oh, it did work. Yeah, anyways. So Google is moving to MDC-based components right now. The point is like Google will be the first to figure out if like things break. And so we're obviously like testing that. We're testing like migration strategies. So things like for the ng update script so that it'll be built in. And eventually, probably within the next couple versions, I like don't want to name a specific version, but it's definitely on the roadmap for like not V13 because that's like tomorrow, not really, but close. But V14, V15, somewhere in that space. The idea is to move over. And honestly, it's not even something you should really have to think about because, like I said, it's going to be a change that's like completely invisible. Oh, did you die? Oh, I didn't know you could die in this game. Anyways, the point is you as a developer shouldn't notice anything when that change happens. So that's just going to like magically happen essentially, and you're going to get all the benefit of it, but nothing's going to change. So eventually those experimental imports are going to become just like the normal imports. So we'll move the same components over under the same namespace and nothing will change for you. Is the entire point of that. So.
All right. So Cole with the Sun asks, can I build? Wait, first we got to solve this problem, and then we're going to answer this question. We will not skip it for sure. Let's put these boxes on top because I think we're doing great without even like really thinking. You know, we're kind of automatically working together.
It's teamwork,
which feels pretty good. I know it's almost like we're actually team members. Wait, I'm not going to take both of those. You can get one.
But what do you? I don't know how to move.
One of the.
Oh, I
you got to use up and yeah. There you go.
Oh.
But these stick in the snow, so you can literally like it'll stick in the snow.
Like that.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's put a box. Okay. So Coda with the Sign says, can I build a component library using Angular and use Angular elements today, then to export them as web components? Is this possible? I don't know the answer to this for sure. Is this possible, Emma? Do you know?
I'm not sure why you would. You can definitely use Angular to build web components. I've like tried.
Right. I like Angular elements, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my like personal website, I like played around with that a little bit just because I like wanted to see. That's like a good use case, right? Like there's really not that much there. In fact, my personal website, if you like go to it, just is like a bunch of drag and drop and it's like kind of hidden and like doesn't make sense and there's really no point to it. Just to like roast myself. But I don't know if Ivy contributes to that at all. But you can definitely export things as web components. Yeah. Do you know anything?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't, but this is such a good question that I'm going to keep track of this. And Cole with the Sign, here's what you can do. You can reach out to us on Twitter and ask this question to either one of us, or you can even like ask the Angular account and we'll chat with some more of the team to get some answers for you, because this is a really great question and we don't want it to get lost. Okay. So you can find us on Twitter, or you can find either one of us directly, or you can use the Angular tag and get with us. Okay. And then we can help you get this answer. It's a great question. Thank you so much for asking it.
Ask the Angular account.
Yeah, ask the Angular account for sure.
Cool.
All right, let's see. So what is our favorite games? Okay, so I am a newly rejuvenated gamer. So I have a small child, and my small child has really stopped me from playing games because I'm hanging out with the kid and I don't really have a lot of time. But this is not fake self-promotion. I promise you. Having a Stadia controller has really helped me to play more games because I can play it on any device. And I know this sounds like a sales pitch. I promise that it's not. This is my genuine opinion. But so I play way more games now on Stadia than I ever have in a long time. So my favorite types of games for me are I love first-person like story-driven games the most. I'm not very good at multiplayer like online like Call of Duty or anything like that. I get roasted because people are just way better and faster. So long story short, I love Tomb Raider, one of my favorite games. I really love Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a PlayStation game that I love. And my favorite scary game of all time is The Evil Within. And lately, I love the Paw Patrol game because I can play it with my child and nobody's scared. So that answers that.
I like board games. I don't know. This is my first time using a controller. I think it's really fun. I think this is like easily very addicting. And also, if anyone codes with a controller, I want to know because I think that could be really cool. Like low-key, I think there's a way, if anyone's listening to this, to like hook up a controller to like your VS Code with like the Angular language service, so you could just use autocomplete and like try and write code with this. I don't know if that's possible. I like want to try.
That's such a fascinating thing that you want to know how to do that.
I don't know. Oh, what?
Hey, get your own pumpkin.
How do you move your pumpkin?
You just got to walk left and right the same way.
No, my pumpkin's
yeah. There you go.
Wait, this
I need you to jump off when you're ready.
Anyways, I really like board games.
What's your favorite board game?
There's a really great board game called Wingspan. Obviously, like Settlers is fun, blah blah blah. But like, there's a really great board game called Wingspan that I highly recommend. That is about birds.
Wingspan.
It's all birds. It's illustrated by like a local artist in DC. It's essentially Settlers. Like, it's not that niche anymore. But like the whole idea is that like won a bunch of awards because it's like the same level of complication as Settlers of Catan. Like, there's as many different ways that it can be set up, and it's just as complicated and just as like strategic. Except all you're doing is like building bird nests, so there's no like colonization or like any of that sort of like rhetoric to it. It's just like fun birds, and you learn bird facts if you're into birds. I don't know. Anyways, I think
all right.
Okay, go.
Wait, before you go, you got to come back and save me. I think you got to push this giant thing over. You see right across the chasm. There's like I think you got to push that down to help me because I'm stuck. Oh no!
You asked for that.
I did, but I did it wrong. I was supposed to move out of the way. Oh man!
Now I'm back down. I don't actually know how I got out of here. Oh,
there we go. Okay, come back, and I want to do it again. Yeah. Oh, okay. I saw that glitch out.
Okay, when will Angular material be fully customizable, like in Flutter? I didn't know that.
What
Flutter
is it?
already... What?
No, I was gonna say, what does that mean, fully customizable? Because you can customize material design.
Yeah, but you can't do things like. I agree, this is a pain point. Like, we definitely want to fix this, but or not fix it, but add these capabilities. But if you watched Google I/O this year, oh, that was a glitch. If you watch Google I/O this year, the future of material is something called Material U, which is like this idea of customization. Now, if you think about like your phone, you already set like a background and things in like sort of a more customized way. Like, I don't know, I take care on like having all of my apps be the way I like. And like, there's a lot to your phone and mobile that's more customizable than the web, right? Like the web sort of has like light mode, dark mode, but like you don't customize the colors the same way.
I see. Okay, I see what you mean.
So Flutter has more space to need to support like the mobile definition of Material U. Material U for the web is definitely still a thing, and we definitely still want to like
swing your sword when you get up there.
Okay, wait a bit like that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Material U is definitely still something that will be defined on the web, but isn't fully like. It's not fully formed yet, essentially. So that's something that the Angular team is like first party definitely working on. Whoa, how did you do that?
Oh, you can just move your shield around with the right joystick thumbstick,
Right.
and then it lets you angle your shield. There you go.
Oh, fun. Yeah, so that's something the team is definitely working on for a future version. Like I said, customization is definitely something I'm super interested in. You can do a lot with theming already that I feel like people don't always know about, and we have some content in the works on that. But in terms of like a full Material U implementation, like what Flutter is working on, we're a bit further away. The other thing that I think is super interesting is like the point of Material U on a phone is that like the end user customizes it, right? So like I can pick green, and then like all of my components get like sort of green, or like, right? It's like in the hands of the person holding the phone, versus what we were really talking about with like Angular material development and customization is that the developer is able to customize more things.
Mm-hmm.
So
Angle your shield real quick, Emma.
How? Where?
So stand underneath the glowing purple, because I think we can use our shields to we could do a little bit of teamwork here to angle it up toward the. Oh, that's my bad. Hold on. Oh, I'm pointing it. Come on. What the heck? What am I doing? Okay, wait. Give me a second. There you go. Okay, now angle yours that way. Can we get to yeah, stand back. There you go. You got it. Look, go. Keep more. Aim it up. Go up. There you go. Let's go.
This is clever. Yeah. Anyways.
Go ahead, grab those things on the left.
On the
I got you.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, see, exactly. If you are coding with a controller, then they won't know if you're not. I don't know. Anyways.
Okay, well, let's see. Here's a good question. Yeah. Game development with Angular. Is it possible? Well, I think with enough creativity, you can figure out a way to do it, but I don't think that's the best use of Angular. I don't think that's the best use case. I think there are better things you can do. Oh, okay, you got to do that.
Oh, wait. Can you not create boxes here?
No, because this one has a different
Can you stand on top of me?
Strength. Yep. And I'm gonna go get this. Okay. I got you. I'm not gonna leave you down there. I promise. There you go. Yeah, we gotta get creative here. Wait, I think there's magic back here. Come across the chasm. Okay, let's answer some more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Tindy says, no, boss. I'm not gaming with this controller. I'm programming with this controller. Okay, so do component routes of lazy loading modules /route get the same service instance as non-lazy loading module? Suleiman, I don't know what you mean or specifically about that one. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Right. Maybe rephrase the question, see if we can help. And if not, like I said, tag us on the Angular channel, and then we'll be able to help you even better. The Angular Twitter. Let's see. When can we expect plug-and-play components without ng module? There's no defined timeline. And we're still exploring per the roadmap.
I mean, I think we can say it's been teased enough on Twitter that the RFC is very close to being public. And so an RFC is a request for comment, and you can find them on our GitHub. So github.com/Angular in the discussion forum area. And it's really great when we release RFCs if everyone goes and reads them and gives their input. Because even if you think you have no input to give, oh, bye, Mark. Even if you think you have no input to give, you do, 100%.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Read it, comment. Oh my gosh, this stuff is really poison. Did you know that?
Yeah, I sort of assumed. I feel like,
It's because of this thing. Look, you got to use your shield here. Okay, so when you come back, I don't know where you are.
Oh,
It says you're back here. There you go. Come on.
yeah.
I'll work together.
Yeah, I got that part.
All right. Now we have to like both go down and face opposite ways. So do you want left or right?
I'll go right.
Okay, I'll go left. Ready? All right, come on.
Oh
No! Did you
think
jump?
yeah, I jumped. Ah! Oh no. Oh, I shouldn't have gone. Okay, I'm back. Wait, how do you?
Yeah. So how do you use the shield? Oh, you just have to use the right thumbstick. You have to literally like engage it. Okay, ready? Go. All right.
Oh, this is not easy anymore.
Nope.
This is so easy to talk and play.
All right, and then you go under. All right, off you go. Can you? Oh, okay. Can you angle that to? I saw that. Can you angle your shield so that way it hits the vines on the wood bridge? Yeah, like that. Yep.
Yeah, I can.
And now there's the lower vines. I think we got to target as well. Okay.
Hey, that wasn't bad. Okay. Let's see.
Together. Okay, we answered this. Is there a best practice with regards to where to place class files? So when I hear this, Emma, and I want to hear your feedback too. I'm thinking this person is asking about like if they're adding like models maybe and like interfaces. It depends on. We're gonna have to defeat this guy. So this is actually like combat. We're gonna have to attack him. But he just broke my shield. Okay, he will break your shield. So jump. Come this way.
But he has a full battery.
Yeah. Oh, so there's more to the story. Okay, there you go.
Oh, I see.
Oh, now we can attack. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, that's me gone. Do I come back?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Oh, there's another one. It's up at the top. How do we get that? Yeah. Oh, he's still not toast?
No,
my guy.
The third one. Oh, wait.
Well, at least it's not like about.
How did you?
Snaps.
I'm confused.
Okay, there's some more. So every time I see those vines, I think about reflecting my shield to.
I'm gone twice.
Don't break my shield. Don't break my shield. So where's the best place? Sorry, we see your question, Brian. We're not ignoring it, but we're also trying not to get murked in this game. So let's answer this question. All right, it's a good question. So best practice. It depends on how you're designing your component structure. So I like to keep everything in the same component. That way, if I have to export it, for example, or share it with a teammate, it's in the same place. But then some people like the idea of putting their like component, or their interfaces in like a models folder. I don't prefer that. I think the best practice for me in my personal development is going to be to keep the party started that way, where we put it in the same folder as the thing is going to be used, unless it's shared across multiple components.
I have a slightly different answer, but I also come from most of my development most of my development experience is mobile. So I'm used to an MVVM model.
Attack.
Oh no, I think he's already. Oh, there you go. So like a MVVM or like MVM, which are like design patterns of like model view controller, which is like the primary way that you do like Android development these days, or at least they're very trendy if you are in that space. So I really like having my components split out so that they have like the models, and then a component that defines like the HTML is all the view, and then your component is like the controller and all the business logic. And then I even break it out further. And if I have classes that do specific business logic, I like to split that out so that it's like fully MVVM. And I bundle all of those into essentially like a module space, so that I can reuse it, since in theory that business logic is connected to how that component works. The other thing that you can do is, or the other way that I will go about it to break it up even further, is move the business logic completely out of the view and controller. Because let's say like I want the same thing to look similar, but maybe, and I think this was a question that was in the chat prior, but let's say like you have an admin function and a like user function, and maybe they do separate things on the page but look similar or something like that. Then if you separate the business logic out completely into a class and place that in like a business logic area, and then are reusing those components based on just the view and the way that they're controlled, then I really like that as well. But that's very much like a mobile hybrid approach, just because that's how I'm used to it.
All right. Great answer. So this is my favorite question, actually. How do you answer the question that Angular is dying? And Crown Prince, don't worry. Even if you did believe it, I will be happy to help you see it a different way, or at least give you more information to help you see it different. But I know you don't believe it, but thanks for asking this. So this is a comment that's just, I think it could be a little bit short-sighted if you think that Angular is dying. So you got to think about how Angular is used, who uses Angular, and then just kind of that landscape. So one, internally, when we say that there are thousands of Google projects that use Angular, that's a real thing, right? So some of your favorite like enterprise level apps from Google, like the Firebase console, some of the Google Cloud platform stuff, like that stuff is written in Angular. So those are mission critical apps, and it wouldn't be a great idea for us to just like invest in a technology, to build mission critical apps that we then be like, yeah, but we're going to let it die. We're just going to go ahead and kill it. That's not really the way that works. And then the second thing, externally, we actually see that there are, I wish I had those numbers, but I think at one point we checked GitHub, and then there was like a few million projects on GitHub. And then like, it was quite a bit. So it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and NPM downloads have gone from like 1.4 million to like 2.6 in less than a year, or like a little bit over a year at this point. And those are old numbers. So definitely not dying. Definitely just, here's my take. Angular is intentionally stable, right? Like we want a stable environment. I think it's a great enterprise solution. Like nothing magical is changing, but that means it's not like flashy and new, which means it's hard to get really excited about something when there's nothing new. But there's a reason there's nothing new, and that's because everything is stable. So
yeah, and to just continue off there, because I told you, see, Crown Prince, I love this question. When I think about Angular, like, and I'm gonna say, enterprise, and I also think about the word scale. Like we think about scalable teams and what it means to be scalable for Angular. So I think no matter what, for most people, I won't say no matter what, but for most people, they want to build an application that eventually grows to, thousands of users active users per month. So when I hear that number, I'm starting to think about the word scale. So everybody wants that. Like everybody wants a scalable application at some point. So we like to think of Angular as an application, as a platform, as a framework that allows you to create applications at scale. And I think that's really awesome. Hopefully that's that's helpful.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I'll say is like, yeah, there's 2,700 plus Angular applications at Google, up from like 1,000 5 years ago, right? So more than double. But even things that aren't Angular applications are being written with Angular, right? So like our version of GitHub, or like Google's version of GitHub, Google's version of like VS Code, Google's version of like Jira are all in Angular. So it's not even mission critical of like, yeah, if you are deploying using Google Cloud, which is like the single largest Angular code base that I think any of us have ever seen. But like, even if you're writing Android applications and like, I don't know, I opened a bug on like Android docs the other day and I did it in an Angular application. So like it's mission critical for literally all developers at Google in some capacity. So it's definitely heavily invested in, which I had no idea it was that until I got to Google. I don't know about you.
Yes, it's real. Here's a great question. Who are the people presenting? Emma, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, it depends what you want to know. My name is Emma Twersky. I am a member of the Angular team at Google. What else do you want to know? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They just want to know who we are, so we're letting people know. I'm Mark Thompson. I am also a DevRel engineer here at Google, working on Angular, having a blast. My interests include long walks through the park with my child that I can't get to stop climbing on things. And I love traveling. My favorite place that I've traveled so far has been Aruba. Amazing place, amazing culture. Really excited. Can't wait till the world is safe for everyone to travel, like lots and lots. So yeah, it's great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are excited to travel and be able to. A lot of what we do for our work is interact with different Angular communities. And if you haven't seen us, then I highly recommend you check out your local Angular meetup, or not local, because everything's online. So who is stopping you from joining something from across the world right now?
Thanks for calling that out. Emma, check this out. This is totally related. This comment from Shah was how and where could I attend an online session for students or learners through Zoom, etc. So exactly what you're talking about. So continue, please.
Yeah. So if you are looking for, I think the best place to start is like a local Angular meetup. You get to meet super cool people. Everyone is incredibly friendly. Oh no, how do you let me? I don't know what to do.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Can I push this? Oh, I can push this so you can come. Anyways, if you go to angular.io, our website, there is a tab for community, and you can find a list of all of the meetups. I think that there's also a meetup list on GitHub if you look up like Angular meetups. And so I would highly recommend starting there. That's going to have a ton of resources for how to interact with like local Angular developers. Or if you want to learn and you're just getting started, that's another great way. Because yeah, Mark and I are all over the place attending all of those meetups. Now is a really great opportunity also where everything is online. So you mentioned Zoom, right? Like sometimes it's really hard to like be able to travel and like devote time to learning. And there's a bunch of really great online sessions happening right now because the world is so remote. So now is an even better time than ever to join.
Yeah, great answers. And we have some amazing Angular communities out there, like Angular Nation. There's the Angular Discord. There's like pretty much Angular meetups all around the world, just like Emma said. So excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so Deepdol says, please add more Angular material components. Okay, will do.
Yeah, wait, I have will do, but if there's something specific you're looking for, the best way to communicate with the team on requests like that is to open a feature request. So go to our GitHub, specifically, I guess this would be the components repository, which we talked about, like why it's called components, and open a feature request or open an issue and go through the template and spread your case, and other community members will join in the discussion and we'll talk about why or why not that should be implemented. So yeah.
Feature request is something I'm telling you, we love to see it. All right, so you walk on my tightrope and get up there, and then you should be able to go.
But then how do you? Oh, I see.
Yeah, well, probably that thing's going to work in our favor. Is that a rope up or what? Oh, there he is. Okay. Work his bridges. Like Jeff Bridges. Okay, let's. I think we have a few more minutes for a few more questions. Okay, I like this question. All right, can we have multiple template files for a single component? I know this can be done with content projection, but is there any better or alternate solution. So content projections for friends at home who maybe learning Angular, it's a way for us to determine where a template that we nest inside. So we have a parent component template and then a child template. Content projection allows us to determine where that template will show up in the, in our Angular template. So if you want to have multiple, that is the way to do it. You can't have like a file, like multiple files for a component right now. I don't think that we know a use case for that yet. I don't think there's a use case I can think of that's like helpful for something like that just yet. But the way to do it is content projection, as you said.
Yeah, a bunch of ng ifs, I guess, but probably not separate template files. When I was talking about like MVVM, that would be a good use case where like it sounds like what you're doing is you have different business logic that like maybe wants to show different components based on that. So that's where you would probably actually split out the have two components and the business logic decide what you're showing there. With content projection, I guess works, but yeah. I don't know what I'm doing here, Mark.
So try the rope up to the ledge and see if there's something up there that you can help with. Thank you. All right, so now, can I just get up there?
Yeah, probably.
Let's go.
Also, I have to say that the Harry Potter profile picture is pretty good. Let's see.
Right, I like this question.
Oh, never mind.
You want the PWA question? Let's do that. I love PWA.
I was gonna point that to you. You're the PWA person.
I love PWAs. I think they are underrated technology, to be honest with you. I think there's just a lot of greatness that you can have. So I have a very unpopular or hot takes, a controversial opinion about PWAs in the story. My opinion is that you should probably start with a mobile website and then escalate to a PWA. And then after a PWA is where you can start to look at other solutions. But I think you can get so far by just a PWA. I used the app the other day to do like a video call to do some like surveying. And we were walking around my house and then the app was a web app. And it had a video, like full screen video, and it felt like a FaceTime call, but it wasn't. It was all through PWA. So I could see their video, they could see my video. I could control the camera. And this wasn't an installation. This wasn't like Ionic or a capacitor. This wasn't anything like that. It was just through the mobile web. And I was just thinking like, wow, look at all the things you could do. So could we build something like TikTok and mobile web without needing, the full like native experience? I think a PWA gets you really far away. And then I say, if you can't get what you need from a PWA, then experience other stuff. But to Tindy's question, if you have an app using Angular PWA, how does it affect lazy loaded modules? They can still be lazy loaded, but remember, a PWA allows you to pre-cache assets for performance in Angular. So that's going to be one of your major value adds, is that you can pre-cache your assets. I got to ring the bell. And so I don't think that that's going to have an impact on your lazy loading. It should still be pretty fast too. All right, friends. We can answer one last question. I'm gonna support the book Angular Studies Senior Level. Oh, this is interesting. Do I recommend? So I have a recommendation here. Actually, what about you, Emma? This is a recommendation for a course or book for Angular Studies.
I am not a book reader, so you go.
Yeah, sure. So I will give a book. I say this is a mid to senior level book, maybe, but it covers some like basics of Angular. But I think there's still some cool projects and implementations. This book is called Angular Projects, and this is by Aristides Bampakos. I can't say his name. It's a Greek name. I'm not good at pronouncing it. This is a pretty good book. And then a good course that I think is really great. There's some really great stuff on Pluralsight, and you can get some stuff there. And then I think Angular Nation also has an Angular Architects course, which is totally targeted at advanced users and people who want to do stuff. So check out anglernation.net. But we're actually out of time, friends. I know I'm having so much fun with you folks, but we are out of time. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. If you like this type of stuff, you have to let us know. And if there's other things that you want to see from us, you got to let us know, because we are here for you. Emma, take us home.
Thank you so much for joining. Again, if you have any follow-up questions, tag the Angular Twitter at Angular on Twitter. It's Mark and I answering those questions too. So if you ever want to get at us, we're always online and here to answer your questions. So thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, friends. Until the next time, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you. Go build great apps.